Welcome to the Power of Love show, sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation, where we shine a light on loss and grief and how it impacts our lives. We are here to provide hope, resources, and a community so no one feels alone in their grief. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Power of Love show, sponsored by the D.D. Jackson Foundation, where we shine a light on loss and grief and how it impacts our lives. My name is TJ Jackson, and with me is my eldest brother, Taj Jackson.
Hey, TJ.
How you doing, man?
Good. I got 90% of my voice back.
I can hear. You already sound better than yesterday.
Yeah, I had no voice yesterday. I was whispering yesterday. It was good. I was worried about this, by the way.
It's not like you talk so much anyways, Taj.
But it's for the beginning.
Thanks for laying that down. Yeah. But for those of you who have tuned in, we are live, of course, on Facebook and YouTube right now. It's been a couple weeks hiatus for us, so it's really, really cool to be back. We miss you all. We want to thank you all who are watching the live stream for joining us. You may also be listening to our show on any of the streaming platforms. The Power of Love radio show, I think, is what it's actually formally called, but we obviously just call it Power of Love. Yep. You can find it on all the streaming platforms. So if you are also a podcast listener, make sure to check us out there. Now, as for a disclaimer, we are not licensed therapists. We are just ordinary people who've experienced loss in our lives. We've been impacted by it, and we have learned from it. And what we like to do here is share our opinions in an attempt to help you get through whatever it is you are going through. Saying that, if you need professional help, we urge you to seek it and to find it. Please do not just rely on us.
Yes.
Now, Taj, we can discuss what has been going on in our weeks. It's been what, two weeks, 2 full weeks, or has it been more? Has it been 3 weeks? I think it's been 3 weeks since we've done a show.
3 weeks, yeah. Wow.
It's been a while. Obviously, I think the most reasonable thing to discuss, considering that we are a show on loss and grief and how loss of lives impacts us, I think the first thing we need to do is to just send our love, condolences, well wishes, our prayers, all the above to everyone who's affected in the Middle East. We are not a political organization. We are not a political channel. We don't want to go down that road. It's a very sensitive time. So, but one thing I know my brother and I and our foundation and all of you can come together on is to make sure we are thinking, praying, and hoping for a peaceful resolution as soon as possible. Yes. So that is, I just think it's, and obviously you say it as well. This is a show based on loss. If we didn't lose our mother at a young age, we probably wouldn't be doing this show. So it feels right because many, many lives are being lost, and not only in the Middle East, but also in Ukraine and in Russia. And it's just, obviously
a lot.
Our family believes in love and wishes for love and peace around the world. It's something that we've always felt, and we just want to send some love to everyone who's impacted, directly or indirectly. Yeah. So, Taj, with all that said, though, is there anything else you would like to address in terms of what's going on in your last couple of weeks in your life, and I can think of what's been going on in mine? Nothing much for me. Everything in my life has seemed actually pretty trivial compared to what's going on.
I would say. I would say, just to piggyback that, not discuss it, just, take care of yourselves as well, and your health and your mental health, because social media has been doing a number on me recently, just, and in that way. And it's been very hard. So I would say, since it is in the vein of that, just protect yourself, but and also we need more empathy as well in that.
Well said. I completely agree. I've had to keep an eye on my mental health and unplug and because it can get challenging and tough. All right, so I think that's the right thing to do during our intro. forget about what's going on in our personal lives. But one other thing I think we need to mention, Taj, is that we have an incredible guest joining us
Yes.
within the next couple of minutes. So I will get into that intro right now. And so let's do it. On today's episode of the Power of Love show, we are excited to welcome back a special guest and a dear friend of the D.D. Jackson Foundation, the one and only Amber L. Bradbury. You may remember Amber from her last appearance on the Power of Love show in 2021. Amber is an author and grief advocate who wrote her first book, If Grandma Were Here, a book of memories, after being inspired by her own cherished memories with her mother and grandmothers. Now she's gearing up for the release of her second book, If Grandpa Were Here, a book of memories and lasting love, which is inspired by the treasured memories of the grandfathers that her family has known and loved. Through her writing, Amber aims to provide comfort to readers of all ages who are grieving the loss of a loved one. In addition to her passion for writing, Amber is also an avid nature photographer and a motivational speaker. She resides in upstate New York with her husband, 3 children, 2 dogs, and 1 cat. Her heart is filled with countless happy thoughts of the grandmas and grandpas who will forever live on in our hearts. Here today, not only to discuss her upcoming book, If Grandpa Were Here, a book of memories and lasting love, but also to reveal, I said to reveal the book cover and do a live author reading exclusively for our DDJF community. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the DDJF Power Love Show, the one and only Amber Bradbury. Amber!
Hello.
Things have changed since you were here in 2021. Taj is in control of an audit. He's like a kid.
I fumbled that a little. I'm not gonna lie. It's supposed to fade in and fade out, but
he's like a kid. He found this toy, and now that's what he does for our guests when they come in. But it's all good. Amber, it's so wonderful to see you. Thank you for coming back. My brother and I, Taj, are so happy that there is a sequel that is coming. That's going to be. It's such a cool. I think we may have even mentioned it in the first show. Is there going to be a second one? And so I'm so happy you followed through and did a sequel. I think it's incredible. One more thing I want to share before I get into some questions is we were just talking about dogs. You have a golden doodle as well. That's about the same age as mine. So
I do.
I love my golden doodle. For anyone who's thinking of dogs and was thinking of golden doodle, you have a golden doodle, but you also have a labradoodle.
A labradoodle, yes.
What is, real quickly, what is the difference you've seen in them, or being? Are they the same age? Are they?
No. So our labradoodle Cece, she's 5.
Okay.
She's calm. She's kind of like a lab. She likes to hang out and chill. The golden doodle, I would say he's a bit more energetic. He's
okay.
unloving.
He's still a baby though.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Okay.
But
I absolutely love our golden doodle. He's part of the family. So I don't know. I definitely vote for golden doodles. But anyways, all right, let's get into the show. Amber, your first appearance on the Power of Love show was in July, actually, of 2021. You explained that your debut publication, If Grandma Were Here, a book of memories, was inspired by your own cherished memories with your mother and grandmother. But today, as we said in the intro, you're here to talk about If Grandpa Were Here, a book of memories and lasting love. So can you please explain what motivated you to write this second book and what publishing it means to you?
Sure. So what motivated me writing If Grandpa Were Here was the reaction that I got to If Grandma Were Here, excuse me.
Yeah.
It just put me in touch with all the readers who've experienced the death of a loved one, especially after the pandemic. During the pandemic, I realized it was really a book that everyone needed. And the grandfather-grandchild relationship is just as special as the grandmother and grandchild relationship. I also believe that books are a catalyst for a healthy conversation about grief and death. And I would say what publishing the book means to me is that it's a legacy for my family because the characters in the book, one is me, the other is my husband, and the two grandfathers are my husband's grandfather and my great-grandfather. So for my family, it's just a legacy that we'll always have. And each scene of the book consists of memories that my husband and I had with our grandfathers and memories that my kids continue to have and build with their grandfathers. So
So
that's what,
cool.
yeah.
Now, when writing the book and reflecting on the memories and relationship you've shared with the grandpas, what range of emotions did you go through? Because I would assume it was, a variety of emotions you felt while writing the story.
Yeah. So I think I went through joy, just being able to share the memories with the world and reflecting my own family and the characters throughout the book. There's like little hidden treasures and symbols. My children are in the book in the background. And it also felt bittersweet and there's sorrow because although I'm creating this beautiful book, If Grandpa Were Here, I know that our loved ones aren't. So I wish they were. My grandfathers are, but my husband's grandfather, and my great-grandfathers, I wish they were here to see it.
Yeah. Now, was it the same type of emotions when you wrote If Grandma Were Here? Or would you say, doing it, I don't want to say doing it because every experience is different, but having the experience of If Grandma Were Here, did that impact how you did, not only how you felt writing If Grandpa Were Here, but also your approach, what you wanted to accomplish or anything like? How did the first one impact your second one?
Well, the first for me was different because it was my mom who's no longer here. I mean, my father, he's still alive. My husband's father's still alive. So I think there was definitely a difference. Um, I'm not sure. I don't know how. I just think I kind of kept a similar approach to
Mm.
Grandpa Were Here when writing it,
Um,
if that makes sense.
yeah, I mentioned to you, and we're gonna do a book reveal, by the way, which is so cool. We appreciate you sharing your revealing your cover here
Of
and
course.
allowing us to read part of your book with, or you're gonna read, but really showing part of the book with the community. Um, I What caught my eye was the illustrator. Um, well done.
Yes.
I wanted you to be the one to read it to me, so I haven't even read the story, but it looks like your book is perfect, to be honest. And I don't want to just throw that word out there, but it's so beautiful and well done. Did you learn a lot going from the first time and things you wanted to change and correct, or
Definitely. Yeah.
what would you say is a big thing that you picked up on that you made sure was done differently for this one?
Um, I would just say for the second book, I think I had more of a vision of what I wanted because the
Hmm.
first book, I didn't know. Like when they said you have to come up with a storyboard, I'm like, what? So then I'd come up with ideas and it really wouldn't look right from an illustrator's perspective. So I think doing the first book, it really helped me have a vision for the second book and know exactly what I wanted for each page because you, as the author, you have to come up with what you want it to look like. So
Yeah.
it can be challenging because
And
something that you think looks right might not look right when the illustrator does it.
yeah, well, the illustrator did a great job, as you guys will
Deb
see
Johnson,
soon.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Illustrator did the first one too, or a different illustrator?
No, Jessica Corbett illustrated If Grandma Were Here, and Bev Johnson illustrated If Grandpa Were Here.
Gotcha.
I have a
Gotcha.
question real quick.
Yeah,
How
sure.
therapeutic was doing these books in that way? And was there a difference in that in between the first and second book? I know you said the first one, in terms of female and mother and all that stuff, but in terms of that aspect of it for you.
I think for me, it's just knowing that my family's represented in these books, and
Mhm.
when I'm gone, it's just a legacy that's gonna live on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a powerful thing.
yeah.
And I hope also it inspires anyone out there to whatever it is to think that way. That's why I love art and creating, and whether
Yeah.
it's a song, whether it's a book, whether it's a poem, whatever it is, don't be afraid to get your emotions out there and let it go. You never know how it's going to inspire someone or impact someone. And like I always say, and Taj can attest. I don't know. I'm sure he feels the same way, but that's one of the beautiful things as us as artists is that our music will last longer than us. And same with your book. Your book will be here forever, and that's on this, in this form where anyone can pick it up and be impacted. It's a beautiful contribution. So thank you, really, thank you, thank you,
Welcome.
thank you. Now, you've mentioned that each of your books represent a step in your mission to provide comfort and foster connections. Can you elaborate to us why this mission holds such significance for you?
Yes, because when we share stories of our loved ones, it's like we're bringing them back to life. That's how we remember them. And I've always been inspired learning about my family's history, the things they've achieved, what they've sacrificed to be for me to be where I am today. And that's really the most thing that I'm grateful for. I try to reach out to the older members in my family regularly and just see how they're doing, ask them questions about the past, learn more about their lives. And I think there's a lot that we can all learn from our past generations.
That's great. So I've mentioned it before a couple of times, and I think it's now time, if that's okay, Amber. We are all in for a special treat. Amber is graciously going to share her book cover exclusively with our community right here in about 1 minute. So, if it's okay with you, Amber, I don't
Yes.
know if you need to put a spotlight on yourself. You deserve it. But I think it's time to showcase, show off your new highly anticipated cover. So, and then once we see the cover, okay, what Taj jumped the gun, but we didn't see anything yet.
I
Taj,
didn't know what to do. Did I?
what did you do? You just pressed the sound effects?
Yeah.
Okay. You just did the drum roll. Okay, now we're gonna showcase. Let me remove this because I want this done right. I want this to show. So if you're listening to us, this may be an episode you may need to also watch on YouTube on the playback, because that way you guys could see this cool little intro we did. Okay, let me remove this. Give me a second. I know we're not the best production team, but we get things done in our own time. Okay, are we ready? I have it. Okay, here we go. We have a little like a little art thing too. This is the first for the DDJF Power Love Show. So here we go. Amber's new book. Here we go. There we go. Let me get the art up now, because now I know they couldn't hear me if I left it like that. Here it is. If Grandpa Were Here, a book of memories and lasting love by Amber L. Bradbury, illustrated by Bev Johnson. What a cool cover. Are you happy with? How happy are you, Amber? Is there anything you? Yes.
It just came out so beautifully. It really did.
Yeah.
Very.
I know we're gonna have a couple. Okay, Jack Love says I love it. Jennifer says love. The grandpas look as though they are chilling on clouds. Jen says it's beautiful, and Carrie says wow, so incredible.
Oh,
So
thank
super
you.
super cool. I know more comments are going to be rolling in. Now, if it's okay with you, Amber, what I'd love to do is, if it's okay, is to kind of get into the book and you read a bit of it to us, which is something else that we don't really do here.
Sure.
So is that okay? Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we even started, we were discussing how much of the book should be read. Should it be the whole book? Should it be half the book? Should it be a third? We're gonna wing it. So, Amber, you are in control of it. and then we'll go from there. The first thing I want to do, which is something I always do when I get a book, is get into the dedication page. So if it's okay with you, we're going to start there. Is that okay?
Or yes.
Okay, so let's shine some light on this. Do you want to read it? Do you want to explain to it? Do you want whatever? The floor is yours, Amber.
Sure, I'll read it. To all grandpas everywhere, but especially to the real-life inspirations for this book, Peter Mercier and Travis Parker Sr. Your legacy of love and dedication will forever live within these pages and in the lives and memories of everyone your lives have touched. And that's from me. And the illustrator, Bev Johnson, she said, I'd like to dedicate the illustrations to my granny and grumpy who helped foster my creativity.
Beautiful.
It is.
All right. So here, let me do this. Let me take off this. And I just want to say one more thing. First of all, again, thank you for sharing this. We are both, and the whole foundation is proud of you, for you. We're excited for you. It's a huge accomplishment. I don't know if you can see how excited I am for you, but I'm pretty happy for you, Amber. It's a really big accomplishment. All right, so let's go into it. Here is the cover. If Grandpa Were Here, a book of memories and lasting love. And here we are. We're going to do a little reading. Story time.
If Grandpa were here, you'd stand by the window, waiting to see his green Chevy pickup truck rumble up the driveway. Before he can even open his door, you'd race over to him, eager to hop in for a ride. Then you'd both buckle up and off you go and go off on a fun adventure. If Grandpa were here, he'd take you to Joe's barber shop for his monthly haircut. You'd listen as he shared funny stories with Joe that made all the other friendly customers glow with laughter. Then you'd each get a lollipop at the end. If Grandpa were here, he'd take you to the best ice cream shop and let you pick out anything on the menu, even a giant banana split and a root beer float with 2 straws. Yum. If Grandpa were here, he'd teach you how to catch the biggest fish in the pond, then show you how to gently release it back into the water. You'd both start clapping when it swims away free. If Grandpa were here, he'd teach you which tools to hand him as he works on your bike while whistling his favorite tune. Then, together, you'd test out his latest handiwork. Look, no more training wheels. Okay, I think we can stop.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you strong? Because but I want to respect. Yeah. That's enough, Amber.
It is.
Okay.
We took it all away. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Taj was strong on stopping early. I actually mentioned, you sure you want to read the whole thing? You don't want to
I was
stop
going to
early?
read the whole thing, but
He
yeah.
was. And now look at me. I'm invested. I want to keep going.
I'm invested too, but that's the whole point.
Okay.
Right, yes.
All right. So
I wanted
Amber,
to know more, but that's the whole point.
I get it. Before we go on to your plays, I want to know, when is it releasing? How can people pre-order it? Can people pre-save it? Give us that spiel, because this.
So it should be releasing hopefully by next month. I'm just waiting on one last thing. There's no pre-order yet, but you can, amberlbradbury.com is where you can buy it once it publishes.
Okay, so Amber L. Let me get that out. Right
Yes.
here, amberlbradbury.com. Keep an eye on here, and then I guess this is a good time to also share your socials, because I assume you're going to be posting it on your social media platforms as well. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. If you don't mind telling your social media information, I have Instagram here at Amber L. Bradbury.
Yes.
And then Facebook is at author Amber L. Bradbury. Is Facebook handles? Do you even need handles? Can't you just type in Amber?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. You could
Okay.
type in Amber L. Bradbury. And it should.
Okay. Do you want me to share the email? I always want to ask him.
That's okay. So you can always go on my website and reach out to me there.
Okay. Okay. AmberLBradbury.com.
Yes.
Check it out. Stay tuned there for the release of the book.
Yes.
What is if grandma were here? I have .com. I have this email or this website too. What is here?
It's still ifgrandmawere.here.com, but soon it'll just go to amberlbradbury.com.
Okay. So, okay. And then is this where you can order if grandma were here as well?
You can do it at both.
Okay.
Both.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So now, not only is Amber doing incredible authoring, not even sure that's the right word, but we want to bring your attention to another valuable resource Amber has created in the realm of grief support, and that is her playlist on Spotify titled Grief Lasts a Lifetime. So, Amber, what was the inspiration behind cultivating this playlist, and what role do you have, or what role do you believe music plays in helping individuals cope with grief?
So I wanted to create a playlist where people can come and listen to songs that remind them of their loved ones. I reached out to some grief accounts like you all at the D.D. Jackson Foundation. I reached out to Randy at Grief and Grits, Gracelyn over at Snapshots of Life After Loss. I think she's been a guest on here as well. Gina Maffa, who's been a guest too, and just asked them to pick out 5 songs that remind them of their loved ones, and they added them on. Just because no matter what you're going through, there's always a song you can relate to, and I just feel like music is always there for you, no matter what. And you can follow the playlist. Anyone can add songs. I just really wanted it to be a collage of memories for people from all over that we can just kind of collaborate and listen together.
That's great. That's great. I have not listened yet, but I do remember contributing, and I'm excited you did this as well. I think it's another cool idea. There's so many things that are now happening in the grief space that can help people get through any challenges or obstacles they may be currently facing, and it's just really cool to see it all come to life. Whether it's foundations, books, songs, playlist, it's really cool to see, because when our mother passed, I didn't feel like there was much out there. Maybe just a book. There were no podcasts, radio show. So it's really cool to see where we're moving in the grief space. Really, really cool.
I agree.
Now, I also okay, we did the connection, but I also, and we're not there yet, but I should have prepared you. I don't think I did, maybe because you're a returning guest, but about the end, right? Where you're going to get the final say. Okay. So you got prepared for that, right?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. What I wanted to ask, Amber, is what is next for you? Is there going to be what's the word, Taj? Treacle?
Yeah. Is this a trilogy? Yeah.
Okay. Is there going to be a treacle? A threequel? Is there going to be a trilogy? Is there more books you want to do? Is there a whole different thing? What is next for you, Amber?
That I don't know yet. I don't know if there'll be a 3rd book in the series. I do know that there is one project I've been working on, which is my maternal grandmother's biography. In the 1970s and 80s, she organized in California for home health workers to get their wages increased, and they were actually able to raise the minimum wage in the 1970s because they all collectively came together and fought for better. So I just think it's an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taj, you should be doing a similar thing. Just saying.
What, writing notebook?
No, well, it's something you've mentioned doing something on grandma, right?
Yeah, definitely something on grandma. Yeah, in that way. I always feel it's fascinating just learning not only what they've overcome, but just their tenacity, and just in that way. I have so much respect for that aspect of it, and I'm sure you're so proud as well, Amber, as you're doing the book in that way, because it made your grandma made a difference in that way.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Have you learned? Let me ask it this way. I've feel I've learned so much from my grandma. I'll just say my grandmother in particular. So many life lessons that I don't want to say she wasn't direct on teaching, but just by being the example that I've learned from her. Is there anything that stands out for you, a lesson or a way of life that you feel you've really learned from yours?
I think it's just treating others with empathy and compassion, because that's something that she always did. And growing up, when you're young, you don't really, you see those things, but doesn't really, you don't recognize it until you get older. And then
Mm,
you're like, wow, this really, this is important.
mm.
I think that's really what she taught me.
When you do, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when it's completed, please let us know.
I
I,
will.
I think it's a beautiful thing and a great treat to do, not only for her, but for yourself and your family. So I wish you the best on that. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Now, there were a couple of pages, since we didn't read the whole book, there was a couple of bonus pages that we didn't hit. Those still should go unseen, I assume, correct? Yes, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The bonus pages, can you just explain what those are and what they, because it's after the story ends.
Hmm.
You left us on a cliffhanger, by the way, Amber. We don't know how this
Good.
ends, which Taj says good too. But what is the role of the bonus pages?
So the bonus pages were a way for me to show readers how to continue a bond when a loved one dies. So those are ways that we keep those relationships connected, even though they're no longer here.
Okay.
So that was the role. And how you feel, like they're letters, and you go through different emotions
Okay. And we can't show any of that, right?
as
Stop
you go
it,
through
TJ.
milestones.
What's that,
I said
Taj?
stop.
Okay, I'm sorry. Taj is pretty strong on this. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's because that's like, I'm guilty of showing too much. That's as a person in that way, and so I,
I mean,
I
we can't be. She's revealed the cover. She's read a little less than half of the book
unless
to
she
us.
wants to show something like she's like
All
this.
right.
This page is important or whatever, but I do believe in not showing everything in
Okay.
there,
Okay.
because then as a reader, in terms of that, when I order the book, there's something new that I haven't seen in that book,
Okay.
and
Okay.
It's
it's
true.
a surprise.
All
And
right.
in the first book, so and if Grandma Were Here, in the end, there was a poem. And for this book, I tried really hard to come up with a poem, and it just didn't work. So
Okay.
I found another way.
To end.
And yeah,
That's
How
great.
long did
All
you
right.
it
try for
came
that
out
poem?
it came out great.
How long did you try for that poem? Just out of curiosity.
Definitely took a few months,
Yeah,
and my editor and I went over it, and she's just like, "Amber, this isn't gonna work." So I said,
Uh,
"Okay."
yeah, that's good.
That's
You know,
really cool.
yeah,
That's really cool.
that's-
I love that though. That even that little tidbit helps. It's really cool because I'm on like edge of the seat. I want to know how this ends. So it's really cool. All right, there's several comments I just want to go through. A couple, if that's okay.
Go.
Camilla says, Amber, this is a perfect book for both kids and adults. It could be a learning experience and a treat for all. So incredible, sweet.
Thank
Deborah says, I share a special bond with Amber because we both lost parents through tragic circumstances and are both authors of children's book.
great.
Very cool. Jennifer says,
Can I
can't
just
wait.
say something?
Yes, please.
So
Always.
Deborah is the editor of If Grandpa Were Here, and she's also the author of a classic children's book, Is Your Mama a Llama? So I don't know if you've heard of that book.
Oh,
But yeah.
I haven't heard of the book, but I love that. If Your Mama Was a Llama. Is that
Is Your Mama a Llama? It's a
that's
scholastic
great.
book. Yeah.
Um, and Deborah says Amber has a great family heritage with a wealth of great stories. She should definitely turn these stories into inspiring picture books
Yeah,
for children. I'm with you, Deborah. I am with you. Okay, so we have Jennifer who says, can't wait to get my copy. Thank you, Amber, with 6 exclamation marks. I'm on this thing where I try to predict
I
them.
was gonna
Todd,
say, I don't even know why you would do that.
okay, I'm sorry.
He's very excited.
Yeah.
I and Jennifer says, love this, Amber. Music soothes the soul. Regarding the playlist, can't wait to hear the tunes. I love how you said you want this to be a collage of memories. That's cool.
Yeah.
Carrie says, I follow this playlist. It's so comforting.
Oh, wow.
And then Jennifer also wants to share. I don't know if you know this, Amber, but it's such a small world that Amber and I realized that I know her cousin. In fact, I was her cousin's residential assistant when we were in college. Her cousin lost her mom when I was her RA. It's really cool. I did not know that. And Carrie says, I found Amber on DDJF. She has been so compassionate along my grief journey and supportive of my writing. She's courageous voice for the grieving community. That's beautiful. Now, I have one more comment I'm going to share from Deborah, the editor or the illustrator. I'm sorry, the editor.
Yeah.
Editor. Bev is the illustrator.
Yes.
From Deborah. And this is my last.
I know what this
Mary.
is. Yes.
Amber doesn't know. You ready?
I know. Yeah.
Show the extra pages. No, that's not fair. Let me first say, Taj, does that still sway you? The editor is saying, show the extra pages.
It really is up to her, and I would show some. I wouldn't show all like that. If you're gonna do anything, you gotta.
Amber, it is your call. I don't want to put any pressure.
I can read the letters because it's not really giving the book away. It's just showing what grief might look like as you get older and you go through milestones and your loved ones are no longer there.
Okay.
So I think
so.
Do that.
So Deborah had some. Thank you, Deborah. I needed some backup. I appreciate it. I got some back.
I think TJ froze.
I think so.
He got too excited.
Too excited he froze.
I'm trying to think where, because I can take over, but the thing is that I don't know what pages he was.
So it should be the last 2 pages.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. He would do that to me in that way. Last 2 pages. Okay. I see bonus page 1 and 2. Should I go for that?
I think so. I hope so. We'll find out. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, Grandpa.
Hold on, let me get rid of the comment real quick.
Sure.
And then, there we go.
Okay. Grandpa, I drew a picture of us all holding hands. I made your wings extra big so that you can help us fly. I hope you like it. Love, Amber.
Wow.
Dear Grandpa, Dad and I went fishing and we caught the biggest sunfish. It was slippery and we had a hard time holding it. It wiggled a lot too. I wish you were here to see it. I miss you a lot, but I think Grandma misses you more. Love, Nate.
Oh. Do you want to go for page 2?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Grandpa, I won first place in the 100 meter. Imagining you were cheering me on at the finish line helped me run faster. I'll be graduating high school next month. Wherever you are, I still feel you near and know you're proud of me. I love you so much, Amber. Grandpa, so much has happened since you've been gone, from graduations to marrying the love of my life, Amber, and raising children. Can you believe it? Though I wish you were here, Amber and I will teach them all the lessons you and her own grandfather taught us growing up. Thank you for being my first best friend and helping me become the person I am today. Love, Nate. And that's my family.
Those are amazing. And I love how that ends in that way, because it does have that continuation of how you can do your own version of that aspect of it.
How everyone's
back now.
I am back. My internet went out. That's the beauty of going live. But I had faith that Taj.
Yeah, the one time I tell you that I have barely a voice, and you.
It's all good. I only caught the very last letter. They
were amazing, and also just the heartfeltness of each different one in each scenario, and I can see how it's a conversational piece of like, hey, let's write our own for so and so, for our nanny or whoever it is, grandma, and that way, yeah, or grandpa.
Jennifer says, I love seeing the hues of brown in Amberly L. Bradbury's books. Thank you. With capitalization, it makes a difference when you see images of yourself in print or film, TV, etc. Thank you. It's very
You're
true.
Yeah.
Carrie says, wow, that made me so emotional.
Aw.
And Jack Love says, oh, that made me tear up. So beautiful. Angel says, I love this book. Definitely wish my daughters would have had the opportunity to meet their grandpa. And yeah, I now I got to get the book to not only read the rest of the story, but now
Yes,
to get
we all have to get the book.
the
Yes.
bonus pages.
Please,
So I you got me, you sold on me twice, Amber. Now I need to definitely get it. So again, to everyone out there who wants to get If Grandpa Were Here, go to amberlbradbury.com. It's
Yeah.
not released yet, but it's coming hopefully within a month or so. So hang tight. If you go there and you don't see If Grandpa Were Here just yet, just maybe come back around the end of November, maybe beginning of December, and if all goes well, we'll see it then.
Yes.
Cool.
And you can get If Grandma Were Here too.
You can, and you can get, if there you go. You could start with the Grandma Were Here. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, I think we are at that time where we want to give you that floor where you can talk about anything you want for up to a minute to 2 minutes. It could be on topic, it could be off topic. The floor, is that okay, Amber?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You seem ready. Okay. The floor is yours.
Well, I had one thing I was gonna say, but now, so with me reading the book, what memories do you guys have of your grandfather?
Okay, wait. We can
share one memory.
Yes. So we will answer it, but I still want you to say what you were going to say. But I love this. Do you want to say the other one first, or you want us to answer this first?
I can say the other one.
Okay, say the other one and then re-ask us that one, because that's a great way to end.
So I just hope If Grandpa Were Here, just like If Grandma Were Here, brings comfort to every family who's going through grief and loss and keeps the memories of their loved ones alive forever. I also hope that it's a book that'll be passed down from generation to generation, because I believe it's a book for all ages. I mean, I did a church reading, and afterwards, a gentleman, he was probably in his 70s, he came up to me, and he told me a story about his grandmother, how her front door broke. She didn't have money to fix it, so he fixed it. And she knitted him an Afghan that he keeps on his bed. And I mean, he just started crying. And
wow,
it just brings back other people's memories. And that's what's special about writing a book like this.
Well said. Okay, that thank you for sharing that. That's very powerful.
You're welcome.
Now, you want to ask that question again regarding our grandfathers, because I think that's a cool way to end with your book, If Grandpa Were Here, coming out soon. I think that's a cool question.
So after hearing a snippet of If Grandpa Were Here, what is one memory that pops in your mind about your grandfathers?
Taj, you want to go? Okay, I'll set it up, Taj, and then you go. We never met our maternal grandfather. We didn't know of him. So for us, this is just
on my mom's side. Yeah.
On my mom's side. So for us, this is just regarding, there's only one grandfather we could speak of, and that's for Grandpa Joe. So Taj, I set that up so you bought you some time to think of this, and you go first.
Gosh. The most, I think the interesting thing about my grandpa is I have so many memories with him in certain ways, and I think the memory I have is when I went with my Uncle Jermaine and him to Germany, and that German trip was probably one of the best trips I've had, because it was the first time that I actually really, really got to know my grandfather in a way, not just a high and by, or just, it was the first time I actually got to spend days with him in that. And I cherish that because he's no longer here. And I cherish those memories and that moment, because I also know how lucky I was to be able to do that in that way. And so my grandfather was a very fun person, and also very he was a Leo in that way. And part of me wishes I was more like that in certain things, 'cause I'm more of a shy Leo in that, but at the same time, I've always admired his strength and his courage, and he he had that Leo strength to him in that way. And so yeah, not really a memory per se. It's a mashup, but for me, that's what I'm taking the best parts of that trip in that way, and that was spending time with him.
Well said, Taj. For me, uh, I think the best memory I had was when not only my grandfather but my grandmother. I thought you were going to say this, Taj.
I left it for you, man. Like I
Taj,
knew that was the only one
what
you
a,
had.
what a good big brother. I appreciate it. But when we were playing at Wembley in London, I almost said Los Angeles, but in London, England, and I remember seeing my grandparents to the right in the stage and just seeing, and I was 17. So, and at 17, you don't really understand the impact. At least I didn't understand the impact my family had in the world and in the music. But to see those two and know that it started with their dream and ambitions and goals and how much they sacrificed was really impactful for me. And then we had heard that our grandfather, Taj could probably say this all better, but we had heard that he had shed a tear, which was something that was unheard of for our grandfather.
Yeah,
He was
a
a
rarity.
very, very tough, no nonsense, strong man. And it just reminded me, even at that time, that everybody has emotions and heart and love, and that it just said a lot. That tear, that story of him crying and that image in my head, it really impacted me, in a really powerful way. So that would probably the memory that I would share.
Yeah, I'll piggyback real quick off that,
Yeah.
just because I would, and I'm just guesstimating, but I would guess that that was a tier of, pride, but also a tier of accomplishment in that way, of because you have to remember they came from Gary, Indiana, and he was a steel mill worker, and to know that coming from there, where like grandma hates that I say this, but I'm gonna say anyway, there's a lot of crime at during that time period. Gary was one of, I think, the second or first in terms of that area, in terms of the US, the total US. And so to take that family out of that
Mm,
atmosphere, I commend both of them in that way, because they
mm.
sacrificed a lot in that, and had to really have a dream, and hope that dream came true in that. And so I think seeing that, and then fast forwarding to us on stage performing, at Wembley, which is a big prestigious place to perform, he's probably thinking, I
In,
did something good.
in,
you know
in another country,
yeah, it's
in
another
another
country.
country. So
Yeah,
it's in another continent. It's pretty powerful. So
so that's my piggyback.
well said. Thank you, Taj.
Yeah,
Taj, you came through today. I got to give you some credit.
yeah, maybe
I
I
don't
should
I
step
don't
more.
often do it, Amber, but every now and then I
Yes.
got to give him some credit.
For having no voice, you did great.
Exactly. Amber, thank you for coming back on the Power of Love show, for sharing, revealing, I should say, the cover of your next book, If Grandpa Were Here, as well as sharing and reading some of the book. And then the bonus pages too. It's an honor for us, and we appreciate you taking the time to share your story and your book. So thank you. We wish you the absolute best. Please let us know when it's available on all your social media so we can reshare it and get our community to support you as well. As we always say, the more voices and the more people who are helping normalize the grief space and doing their part, the better. So thank you for doing your part. Don't forget, everyone, you could go on Spotify and check out Amber's playlist of grief-related songs. I put it back up just now, called Grief Lasts a Lifetime. Check it out. It's a group of compassionate grief advocates curated this playlist. We hope this helps whenever you need it most. I love that. Anything else I am missing, Taj or Amber, that you want to share before we sign off?
I think that's it. Just thank you all for having me and everyone who's listened. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Taj?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Amber, for choosing DDJF to be a place where you unveiled your cover and your book in that way. So I
It's
appreciate
my
it.
honor. You're welcome. And thank you
Yeah.
so much.
All right, you guys, we are going to sign off. We will be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Please be safe, take care of yourself, and much love to each and every one of you always. Adios, everyone.